A warm welcome to Mount Smart Stadium for history in the making as the Warriors play host to the Dragons in the Holden Women's Premiership. It's a beautiful day in Auckland City. We're in for some dazzling football as these two proud clubs come to town. Kezzy Apps, the pride of Bega, leading out the Dragons. And what a game we are looking forward to here this afternoon. A warm welcome to you right across NZ and to our friends in Australia as well viewing this. I hope that it pans out just as you would hope. Some wonderful players on show here today from both teams, stacked full of internationals and also those who've played in Origin football. The very best that New Zealand and Australia has to offer. Kia ora, I'm Dale Husband. Beside me today is Lavina Good, and very pleased to have her in the commentary box with us today as we welcome these two teams out onto a sun-drenched Mount Smart Stadium. Lavina, plenty to look forward to in the next hour or so.
Wahine toa this afternoon. It is history in the making, a long time coming. Hasn't Rugby League come a long way in the last decade, Dale? A magnificent event here for these young women attempting to do what men have been doing for a very long time. They're excited. The fans have turned out. A beautiful afternoon at Whititira here in Tamaki Makaurau, and we are ready for a magnificent game of NRL.
Well, when we look at the lineups, just a little shuffle, there was some conjecture about the availability of Maitua Whitirika, one of the class acts too, and a prop forward for the Dragons. Initially not getting her name in on time midweek, and so was stood down. But then the NRL relented after much discussions, and she will take her place in this lineup. They were at risk of running with a three-woman bench as we look here at the Dragons. And what a lineup they have there today with Katoa, Brealey and Arakua. Here comes Georgia Hale onto the ground.
A magnificent advocate for rugby league is Georgia Hale, just 24 years of age, running her team out for the very first time at Mount Smart Stadium. She's a community champion, done so much for the sport and for the community, and she has been named as perhaps the New Zealander of the Year. She is in for the running for that and is after votes and very much deserves it. Georgia
Hale, she is an outstanding athlete. And as you've mentioned before, a wonderful communicator, heart and soul into the game of rugby league. And she will be one to watch out for. 40 tackles last week, didn't miss one. With us today as well, DJ Halligan, Daryl Halligan, and the women's game get centre stage in their own right. And isn't that a good thing, Daryl?
So excited. Magnificent opportunity for these ladies here. They're a little bit nervous. They arrived some 2.5 hours before game time in the gymnasium, all going through their stretches and everything. So they are ready and they're primed for this one.
Well, a good win for the Warriors. They can book their spot in the grand final here with a victory this afternoon. Casey Badger is in control of the action. Ethan Minchin assisting her on the sides. Tim Hanson and Mitch Curry. And as you saw there, Ben Lowe and Henry Pitanara are the video referees. We're about to get underway and the Dragons will kick heading south. We're broadcasting from the Western Stand here at Mount Smart Stadium. And we're underway with the Holden Women's Premiership. A lot on the line, and reputations can be made and broken here. The Warriors with the ball, and the first play the ball. Look out for Crystal Rota. She is an absolute dynamo, terrific distributor, and she's very hearty. So keep an eye out for her. That's her with the football now. Understandably, there could be just a few settling nerves from both squads as Illawarra Sala has her first touch of the afternoon. To her feet midfield. And good run. Big ups to Luisa Vaiki as well, who is the coach with Justin Morgan, her assistant for the Warriors. As we see a left foot kick downtown. Holds up a little, some pressure on here at the back for the Dragons.
That's a great set, Dale. Great set. And I like the structure too. They set it up to have Shante Poko take a kick to the right, step up to the plate. Api Nichols delivers her first kick of the afternoon.
Api Nichols, a police officer in Otahuhu here in Auckland South, and a Cook Island representative in multiple codes as well, but she's got great anticipation and a very incisive run as she cuts through from the fullback position. Keep an eye out for her. Now comes to Kezzy Apps. She's been magnificent in both international and Origin Rugby League. Wonderful athlete, a wonderful leader as well for this Dragons team, coached by Daniel Lacey. It's the Dragons who have the ball now. Rota across the top on the tackle, 32 metres out from the try line. Distribution from Brealey. Here's the first downtowner over the head initially of Nichols. It bounces back. She fends it south and therefore is okay with the ball, and she's put to ground 15 from her own line.
The kick is as good as the chase. We saw from the Warriors from that kickoff, the chase was good, but also the Dragons last week. That was one aspect of the game that did shine for them, even though they did not take the win. Their coach, Daniel Lacey, said we want more of that. If it's going to be a kick, make sure you chase it to the ground.
Shaylee Bent showing good skills on D and wraps up another run. The Warriors just outside their 20. So Rota. There's Poko. Straight down the barrel and into the hands of Vet Welsh. High Tyborn fullback. Gets the what for. She's swamped by Warriors defenders who put her away 40 metres out.
Look at that, 3 in the tackle. Georgia Hale, you mentioned it, 40 tackles last week. Did not miss one.
The Dragons now. This is Ngā Tokotoru. Arakua. Plenty of Kiwi Ferns players sprinkled throughout this 14 competition. Great innovation for the NRL. Of course, here's a run. And Uppy Nichols is solid on defence. On Arakua. It's to her feet now, and they've got numbers out to the left-hand side. Wheeled through from Studden on the far side, and half a break there for Penatani.
Oh, wow. There's some clever football here. The work of the 9, Brayley, was so clever in putting Rocco through the hole, and then the pickup. Wow. Running it on the last. Their execution is spot on here for the Dragons.
30-minute halves in the NRLW structure. And interestingly, a 40-30 available rather than 40-20 to open up possibilities. It's an open running rugby league as Rota darts to the right and finds Nichols. All the way in the tackle of Studden now, just 22 out from the line. The Warriors with conservative angles at the moment. Here's their skipper, Hale. Kicking game so important here this afternoon. It eludes initially, but Vet Welsh.
And again, Poko finds some space here. And behind Vete, she actually moved herself from the right-hand side and shifted over to the left nice and early. Got a good ball from Rota.
Solid D, a couple of Fijian players, Lavina, in the Warriors squad as well, staying with the coach.
Yeah, Louisa Avaika's husband is Fijian, was very instrumental in securing the contracts of both Fijian players who stay with the coach and have injected a whole new dynamic of professionalism in the game, and are really appreciating their opportunity to be able to be part of this NRLW competition in 2019.
Together to our Fijian viewers too. The game's getting a shot in the arm as we witness, of course, the other code as well. Doing well across in Japan. But talk of a Fijian team as well in the Canterbury Cup next year. Here's the kick from the Dragons and allowed to go into touch just 5 metres out from the try line. Beautiful day here today, and just picking up on those Fijian players for the Warriors. Radini Avuni is in 18 on the side, and Ravisa is playing jersey number 6 today. A good ally is the former for Shante Poko.
So much was talked about the kicking game of Poko before this game. And to start this game, the more dominant kicker for the Dragons has been their half, Maddie Studden. Also her pass, her execution of pass. If you have a look at it, shows good width.
She has to pick up that Kimi game because no Kimiata Ngati playing for the Dragons this afternoon, who was instrumental in doing most of the kicking last weekend. So the pressure's on the 19-year-old.
No, Salah with the quick play of the ball or trying to get one, but there is a penalty here for the Warriors. Just trying to create rhythm and do the work that they've been training on all year. Tough competition in the New Zealand Women's Regionals. A lot of players here out of the Akarana franchise and region. Also well represented the south of Auckland and Counties Manukau Stingrays. Got a couple from outside of Auckland as well, Lavina.
Yeah, just 2 players from outside of Auckland, a player from Melbourne, and also obviously Shanta Puko, who's playing here from Canterbury and Christchurch. She plays rugby in a Christchurch on a Saturday and catches a plane to Auckland to play rugby league on a Sunday, and then wonders why maybe her shin splints turned into fractured tibias last year.
Let's just stay with the Warriors.
Lovely ball from Shante.
Monty Beacon is sideline with us as well. Plenty to like in the early exchange, there's Monster.
Plenty to like. I thought you forgot about me, Dale. Having all the fun up there, calling this historical match between the girls. Very excited for Georgia Hale, and the girls get to play at home for the first standalone game for the NRL Women's League. Tell you what, conditions, as you can see, very good. Strong wind at the Warriors' back.
Crystal Tamarua to her feet, and Rolota peels it across to the right-hand side. Here's Puko already into the end goal. Too deep with the kick, though. The restart on the 20-metre line.
She'll be really disappointed with that kick. There was no attacking flair on that. Would love to have got the ball back. Will be upset with that one.
Good pressure coming from the inside. She finds a little bit of a step and just quickly gets the ball to foot. There's too much weight on it.
Well, former Cook Island Sevens and New Zealand Touch representative Shante Puko plays for the Richmond Roses.
Nuasala, when she hits, she sticks, doesn't she?
And
They go backwards.
I'll take my hat off to the under-18 women who played in the curtain raiser here this afternoon as well. And if you're looking for a breeding ground, there were some wonderful talents on show here this afternoon.
Tamarua come up with a one-on-one strip there, Dale.
She's a clever player. Of course, Rochelle Tamarua, one of our up-and-coming referees in New Zealand as well. In relation to as Hale sees it on the inside.
I like Georgia Hale playing in the lock position. I know she helmed from the number 9 and number 7. Commentator's best.
You put the mocker on her.
Forgive me.
That's all right.
I had some kind words to say about Georgia as well, and I thought the lock forward position really suited her. Of course, she's played in the halves. This is a strip here earlier on. Tamarua, well, there was contact just before 2 of the Warriors players grabbed a hold, and here Georgia Hale, after copping a couple of compliments, has a little bo peep, forgets about catching the football.
That can happen to the very best of them as well. Great to have you along here, round 2 of the Holden Women's Premiership. The Warriors with a win here will go to grand final day. Wouldn't that be a special experience for these women? It's really the growth area in the sport in New Zealand, Women's Rugby League. And that's great to see. Skill levels always on the rise as well, as we see the Dragons with the football now 15 short of the halfway. Out of dummy half goes Brealey. Inside ball for her and picks up to Kilele Katoa. Katoa, born here in Auckland, played for New South Wales and the Waratah Tigers, the 28-year-old, as we see the Dragons working down the left-hand side. Apps wants to get it away, does that effectively enough too. Just trying to build here. The Dragons, decent D though by Ashley Smalley from the Otahuhu Rugby League club. Of course, a club that's produced 5 New Zealand captains over the years, and she was acknowledged in the club awards just last weekend.
So the structure of the Dragons' attacking game is there for everyone to see. Their early ball goes left. That picks up second row Apps, and also the centre with plenty of speed and Surges. Twice they went down that left edge there in that set of 6.
She's got plenty of speed. Surges, just 22 years of age, a preschool teacher, partner of Zach Lomatz from the Dragons, but she played a lot of footy with the Coogee Randwick Wombats and loves to run with the ball. You've got to watch her this afternoon.
So with the ball now and on the boil come the Dragons. Moitua Fetarika's in jersey number 10, and that's her to her feet. A good and welcome late inclusion. Holly Wheeler has some attention applied. Out of dummy half goes Brealey now. The Dragons are looking to bust through, and it's Apps over the line, but they have wrapped her up and they have held her up.
Oh, they've done so well here. Nichols and Hale, I think it is. Lovely work. How many times have we seen Kezzy Apps run that line? They hold her up.
Looks like they've done research on Kezzy Apps. Very potent force And some great defence here from Illawarra. Puts the big hit on the back rower. Brealey looking over the top. The ball is okay. Keely Davis is there.
I don't know how okay that ball was, Dale. I don't know how okay that was.
It did float forward, that one. Again, they attack to the left.
We're on the clock.
Yet to have some joy on that side. Warriors been good defensively. They hold, they shift, and that ball there, yeah, just floats forward. This was a run from Kezi Apps. Is that Georgia Hale under there? Yes, it is. And Arpy Nichols shows some attention to detail up top. Stops the ball getting to ground. Work to do.
Micaiah Horn, my apologies, down that left edge as the Warriors have the football on the 20-metre line. So no score after nearly 13 minutes. Always anticipated it would be a tough tussle here today. As the Warriors come a-calling. The Dragons are there to halt the run. Just 5 metres on the Warriors side of halfway. The left foot of Nichols.
Just skied it a little bit, Dale, come off the side of the boot. She does have a lovely left foot boot. Harpy Nichols, of course, we saw her kick a couple of goals last week. And Shante Poco also kicks goals. It's not much between them, actually. Dragons, good field position.
Sky Tungai down the right edge for the Dragons. Little look-see here at the moment for the Welsh. Just inside the Warriors half now with the Dragons. Been a little more creative with the football at the moment. A bit of a working over there by Smalley. Inside ball once again, looking good. It's Federica. Short side play again, the Dragons looking for a way through. Pinatani gets caught with the ball again. Jules Newman making the tackle.
This is a really important set of 6 for the Warriors women here. They have been defending for the last 3 or 4 sets of 6. So come to the fore, my outside backs. Mariu, Tupaya, Newman, Radini, Yavuni. Your turn to get in and do some work.
The Mariu working down the right edge. Warriors with it. Good D as well once again from Wheeler. He comes across the top. Rota. Angelina Leatawa. Busy too, the second rower. As Rota gets to her feet, and again the Warriors have a look down the short side, and the tackle made still in the Warriors' end of the ground. Great defence at the moment by the Dragons. The skipper decides to charge forward, and she goes to ground just inside the enemy half.
Warriors need to make some ground here on the back of the kick, obviously, from Arpy. No, she'll go with it. They're going to run with it, Warriors, down the left-hand side, looking for some space.
Tupaya. Radini Yavuni is driven towards the touch, and she is put across the touch line. Sideline with you, Monty.
Yeah, I think the Warriors are going way from what worked for them in the round 1, and there was big ladies through the middle third of the field. Obviously, Georgia Hale taking it upon herself to get forward. You mentioned, Chuck, there was a lot of stuff to do defensively as they come out wide. Here, trying to look for a bit of feet. The Warriors girls under a little bit of pressure. Make sure that if they do get their fair share of possession, that they are running with that ball with a bit of sting.
I'm not too sure what
Shapes all
happened
been
there.
on the Dragon side.
Sorry, Monty, the Warriors got the ball back. And now have a scrum some 35 metres out. So obviously a Dragons player has touched the ball somewhere along the line there.
Bit of wrestling going on as well. The work going in from Jessica Surgis. Kathleen Wooten Kilimete is with the ball. The Warriors looking dangerous as Hale puts it on the inside from Salo chimes in and heads towards the line. There's a player down in back play though, and some concern as the medics rush on, and it is Federica. Maita didn't see quite what happened there, but some concern being shown.
Yeah, she doesn't look good at the moment. There is an area of concern. She looks like she's in a lot of pain. Not too sure what happened there off the ball, but the Dragons' defence in the last 5 minutes has been outstanding. They've been tested within the Warriors line and also their line defence, and it's fast, but we might get a look at exactly what happened here. Can't tell from that.
Maybe the landing of the knee of Federica.
She's up and Adams.
Goes grasping straight for it, for that right knee. Nuasala is becoming a crowd favourite here. When she gets dropped back off on an unders line towards the post from Georgia Hale, you watch the crowd start to go. They love it.
Yeah, I think with Federica may have been a bit of a hematoma on just above the knee there. I think she may have landed on the boot. That's anything I could see that could have caused a bit of damage.
Well, possession even Stevens at the moment. The Warriors completing at 86%. Better look out here because Leia Taua angles in and is beside the posts. Angelina scores the first try of this history-making game at Mount Smart Stadium.
So much shape on the outside. In fact, both sides leaving the middle straight open for Leia Taua. Let's have a look at the work. Crystal Rota is the gem here. The opening try, so important to leading. Shapes a little bit to the right. Little shimmy. 1, 2, 3 Dragons defenders there. Should have been stopped. But a nice tight little angle, Lavina.
It was a great run from Leia Taua, obviously, to cross over the line. But the distribution has been amazing from Rota this afternoon. She is so quick. Look at this. Deceptive right. In fact, I'll go left. I'll draw a player and pass to the gap. You need to have a runner to the gap, but you've got to pass in that hole.
It even looks better in slow-mo with the eyes, didn't it? You just see the eyes drift off. Beautiful work, Crystal.
The subtleties, Crystal Rota, she's been in that position many a times. The options that she can come off, show right, come left. And Leia Taua running a beautiful line there from outside in. It really does deceive the defenders. They don't see them coming until late in the picture when it's too late. When she gets over the line, too big, too strong. Short passing game of the Warriors. That's the key to going through this team through the middle.
So 6-0 lead for the home team here, and hats off to Angelina Leia Taua. She's been getting heavily involved in the action, and after 17 minutes, the Warriors draw first blood. As you rightly point out, the pass into space needed the runner to convert, and that's precisely what happened, despite the efforts of Shaylee Bent, Holly Wheeler to make the tackle close to the posts. Converted by Api Nichols, 6-0. Great to have you along here. It's the Holding Women's Premiership for the first time in Auckland City. Tamarua to play the ball. Another sensible carry this time around as we take it to the 30-metre line with the Warriors. Structured play.
We're just getting into a default pattern, don't they? Up through the middle. A little bit more expansive here with a couple of tip-ons. Draws close to the line. Georgia Hale flat at best.
It's something that was missing from the Warriors game last year is that structured pattern coming back from the kickoff. It's working well for them so far in 2019.
And Puko sensibly sends it skyward, beautifully taken at the back by the Dragons fullback, who's shown a lot of class here so far this afternoon.
There's a towering bomb from Puko. Had a good spiral on it as well. Completions for the Warriors, nearly 90%. For the Dragons, a little bit of a problem, down around 70.
Holly Wheeler is impressing in her defensive work at the moment with 17 tackles to her name as the Dragons have hold of it. This is young Keely Davis. Great opportunity for Davis. They're playing at standoff. So I think their chances might open up out the left-hand side. Apps is there. She manages to get the pass away, keeping it alive on the far side too. Madison Weatherall will earn a penalty. The Warriors up inside the 10. It's a good opportunity for the Dragons.
A great opportunity and perfect timing as well. They're looking a little lethargic and fatigued over the last 5 minutes. It's amazing what a try can do for a rugby league side. And since then, the Warriors have a spring in their step and the Dragons' shoulders have gone down even on attack. So they needed some yards. They received the penalty. And wouldn't they love to score some points before halftime? That's
so important for them. They've got it outside the 30. Here come the Dragons on the rollout. Weatherall has it. Just an 18-year-old Weatherall as well. She's born here in Auckland City. As a number of players taking opportunities here, and the Dragons with the ball and towards the line, the pass goes awry. And that was a big, big chance for them. They couldn't quite convert. Shakaya Tungai couldn't take receipt after the run from Surgis. It was classy.
They have bombed one there, Dale. The first real time they've attacked to the right-hand side. Passing was perfect. D from the Warriors couldn't quite stop the football. They sent some numbers in there to try and do so. Let's have a look. And right at the end of it here, have a look at there. Just an arm will pop out. It was a good pass, actually, in there. Just the interference of that right arm.
That was from Radini Avani. And really, they did butcher a try there. Could have been passed earlier. Shakaya Tungai.
Scramble D at its best.
They repel yet again. The Dragons have maintained the 6-0 lead as we come into the last 10 of this first half.
The Dragons got real strike on either edge. Kezzy Apps on the left, and of course, there Jessica Surgis. Every time she gets her hands on the ball, she looked deadly. Unfortunately, the ball going to ground there.
Roger, once again, quick play the ball from Roger. Every single time, just pushes the defence back. You watch her make some yards here.
Billie Jean Ali is into the mix. You're disappointed with her effort there, Jessica Surgis. But she gets a chance to look back on the tapes and know that she had herself a chance as it's threaded through it again. The fullback is solid, and so is the defensive work too from the Warriors. Leataue ripping into her work as well. Assistance from Ravisa. Leataue again, she's having an outstanding defensive game so far. Georgia Hale is in there to shore up the D.
Such subtle play. The left footers, they seem to just have this grace about them when they kick the ball. Uppy Nichols, of course, Hale in the tackle here again.
He's got a nice running kick, Uppy. He keeps her opponents guessing. So the Dragons 15 short of halfway, 22 in for the Western Stand here at Mount Smart. Peel it away and a drop off back on the inside. Apps likes to get it away. She did this time again. Decent run here from Weatherall. Strong carry from her. Jules Newman comes across to shut down the danger. 42 metres out. Sideline with you, Monster.
Oh, absolutely. It's heading up down here. We see the threat for the Dragons team is down the left edge, and you see some speed now as they chase the ball.
Good cover there from Ruala. She was needed. Uppy Nichols was way over on the right-hand side, and the kick come across to the left. This is a fatigue part of the game here. Let's have a look. Let's tackle two. Warriors still in front of the football.
Tupaya, who will play it. Here she is again, Leataue. Playing with the effort of 2 at the moment. 9 tackles, 7 carries. Good, strong effort this time around again for Male. To Puko. 40-30. The break important.
Well, she's got it. Beautiful kick for Shante Puko. She got one last week. She did it again. Shows that she's a great kicking exponent. The 40-30 there. Look at that beautiful choke. You'd be very happy with that technique.
Oh, she's just positioned herself magnificently inside the red line. But really to set it up, Uppy Nichols has been a real subtle foil for her on the left here, which means Vete, the Dragons fullback, doesn't really know what side the ball's going to. So she was stuck on the left, the ball on the right.
Walton Kenabiti up to play it. The Warriors look threatening here again as Billie Jean Ale again gets hold of the ball. Takes a wall of Dragons defenders to shut her down. She's right in front of the post now. Roto Casey from close range. And Leataue looking to do what she has done already with the angled run. But this time the Dragons had read her mind and were there to repel her at the last moment. Roto bullet passes out to the skipper Hale. Out to Puko. And that ball, had it hit the mark out wide to Newman, surely would have resulted in a 4-pointer. As it stands, the Warriors still have a bite at the cherry. Uppy Nichols into dummy half, across to Puko. She goes up through the middle, but she's wrapped up too. Apps is there. They shut down the threat. Rota goes the short side, and on the far side, great defence as well. Hats off to Horn. She read the play beautifully. And again, the Warriors come up empty-handed.
Dale.
Yeah, a late call in for Horn, and has defended tremendously well there. Had to be done, had to make the tackle, but they were under the pump. Good line defence from the Dragons all afternoon.
Dragons did really well on the left there. It's been their left in attack. It's actually delivered a lot of the damage in their attack. Now it stands up in defence. Shante Poko threw a long ball, skipped out 2 players. I thought if it went through the hands, they would have scored. But pretty expansive.
For those of you unfamiliar, the moko kauai, this is the chin, well, it's not quite a tattoo, it's the tā moko, so synonymous with the Māori culture, and Hilda Mariu wears it with grace and beauty. And she's one of 2 Reo Māori speakers in this squad. And great to see how our Reo Māori has been interwoven into New Zealand society more and more. Māori Language Week last week, and 2 great advocates for the Reo.
The other one, Madison Bartlett, obviously not playing this afternoon.
Penalties now becoming a little bit of a problem for the Warriors. Discipline.
Extra 14 tackles made here by St George so far in the half. We're down to the last 4 minutes. Just the 1 try after 16 for Leataua from close range. Davis turns the ball over. It's in the hands now of Vatifai Tupaya. A bit of a chance to wrap up the half here for the Warriors. Inside the Dragons' half now. Tupaya to her feet. Shante Poko goes into dummy half. Gets the ball across to Crystal Tamarua. She'll be wanting to offload. Sensibly takes the tackle. Midfield, 42 out from the line. The winger has come in for some action.
The Warriors' attack gets really dominated by Hale and, of course, Puku. I'd really like to see Tamaima jump in here and get a little bit of football. She's got really good footwork on the right. Let's keep a look out for her, should I say, on the left. She's standing too wide.
Arlette, she's been very forceful since she's made her way onto the track. And now, as we come towards the last 3 minutes, back to Hale, onto Puku. Puku puts it on the ground. There's a chance out there. It doesn't come up for this wonderful crowd have turned out to support this historical match at the Paorotonga Mount Smart Stadium. Great to see, and you know, we thought that the women's game doesn't have the level of support to make it even more prominent.
Great chase from Jules Newman. You wouldn't think that she only came to the game of rugby league a few months ago. A rugby convert. She's come from the dark side, Dale, has seen the light, and is playing like a woman that's played rugby league several more years than what she has.
A lot of these women have played many different sports, including Madison Wetherill, who is playing for St George.
Again, the Warriors with really good numbers in the tackle, slowing to play the ball up. Dangerous time in the game here. Just on 2 minutes to go till half-time.
The Dragons are beginning somewhat frustrated, but the defence from the Warriors has been outstanding. Shaylee Bent gets up and plays it. On it goes to Davis. Sees an opportunity inside here for Surgis. And Surgis has put away. Look at them, 4 defenders for the Warriors. Well, Lewis Avaiki, the coach of the Warriors, will be very pleased with their defensive effort. Georgia Hale, the skipper, said that's what they need to concentrate on. But perhaps a chance here as Surgis gets into a little space. Dragged down in the tackle of Tupaya. To her feet now, and it is Tungai. Sends it on the inside for Studden. Studden now finds Fetterika. Strong, but she can't get through because the Warriors are all over her with a minute and a half to play till the break. Dummy half work for Brealey. Here's a chance for the Dragons. Having a decent look is Studden. She comes back into the traffic.
And into who? Guess who was there? Georgia Hale. Collins, Studden. Good opportunity for the Dragons there. I really do like their shift. Brayley, she's got some real width in her game, her passing game.
Let's have another look at it as well. Hale, Angelina, getting in the mix. Inspirational defensive effort from the captain of the Warriors.
Hilda Mariu jumping in to do a little bit of work. And guess who? Now Georgia decides she'll have a run as well.
25 out from the line. The Warriors are satisfied with their work as they count the clock down. Plenty of enthusiasm. And Crystal Tamarua this time.
And
to her feet,
plenty of space in behind the ruck there, Dale. Now the kick again, just outside. the line there for Poko.
He's had a pretty good game. Batil Welsh and the number 1 jersey for the Dragons. Just 4 clubs involved in the championship this year. I get the feeling that will grow in years to come, especially as the quality of rugby league improves, and it's certainly on the rise in that regard. They have it now, the Dragons, down to the right side. The referee will call it stumps.
Time off. Siren was before the play the ball.
And you hear in the background siren before the play of the ball. Hope you've been enjoying the action here. It is round 2 of the Holden Women's Premiership. At half-time, the home team, the Warriors, lead the Dragons 6-0. Round 2 of the Holden Women's Premiership. It's the Warriors up by 6-0. Let's go sideline. Monty Beetham has the coach of the Warriors.
Well, Luis Alvayaki, 6-point lead. What were the instructions at halftime from yourself?
Just in terms of our attack, we just need to be a little bit more patient too, and our halves got to take more direction, get that ball, and we've got to make some better decisions. Defensively, our contacts were okay, but we're not controlling the ruck well enough, and our peel's not very good, so we've got to work on that for this half as well.
40 minutes left to play. Good luck.
Cool, thank you, Monty. Thank you.
Louisa, she is a wonderful athlete in her own right, a powerful prop forward for the Kiwi Ferns in years past. Thank you for joining in today in what is history in the making here. Standalone game for Women's Rugby League at Mount Smart Stadium. This is Maitua Federica.
Yeah, she was boots on and then boots off. She was going to play. She wasn't going to play before the game, Federica, and they desperately need her. She leads the way in hit-ups for the Dragons in the first half.
A few other good performances as well, Lavina.
Crystal Rota is winning the battle of the hookers here this afternoon without a doubt, and she's up against Brayley, who was the Dalian Player of the Year last year. But she's so quick with the play the ball, and also her delivery has been outstanding. More of that. I was interested in some of the halftime stats, obviously with the Warriors kicking 10-3 with the Dragons, so you'll expect some more. And defensively, obviously, from their captain, Georgia Hale, has been outstanding, made 20 tackles already. Expect another 20 in the second half from captain. Fantastic.
Casey Badger calls game on. We're into the second half, 30 minutes to play, and for the home team, a chance to go to the big dance. And a fortnight, the ball is down, and this is just what the Warriors would have wanted to start the second half.
It was an interesting kickoff from Shante Poko. She sort of didn't really get a good piece of it, and the ball span really quickly, and no one grabbed it. A bit of sun in the eyes, maybe, and then finally into the tackle. In the arm of Redanyani, grabs a hold. Great start for the Warriors.
Inside the
grand final beckons here, Dale. It's an important half of football.
Still plenty of action to come, and just the one try in it as the ball comes on the inside for Tamarua. And a little knock on as well, much to the delight of the Dragons players. And rightfully so too. They were going to be under the pump. Now they get a chance to feed the scrum on the 20.
Louisa Avaika will be really disappointed with that. Errors galore from both sides, but a wonderful opportunity there for the Warriors to score some points early in the second half, and to surrender possession like that, to allow the Dragons to play percentage football, to wait for you to make a mistake, will be so disappointing for her players, the coach, and you've just got to carry the ball a little better.
There's an arm in there from Federica. Sorry, V.
With an argument.
A bit of a tough call there, you think, on Tamarua. Well, no, we're back into the action here, and it is 25 metres out from the Dragons' line. The Warriors played a lot of football in their own half in that first half. Just looking through some of the stats, offloads in favour of the Dragons, 9-2. For there is Katoa. She'll get to her feet, 8 short of the halfway. A really good opportunity here for the Dragons to stamp their mark at the moment. It's been outshone a little by the home team. Happy Nichols has had a wonderful contribution, so has Leia Taua. A spirited effort here by the wing three-quarter. Down on the 30-metre line, quick play the ball, bit of tunny, onto the boot of Studden, who puts it into the end goal, but just weights it too heavily. And no threat whatsoever to the Warriors.
had to make more of that kick. They're far too heavy, and obviously she's disappointed with it. But in opportunities like that, you cannot afford to surrender that possession and give the ball to the opposition. There's no attacking flair whatever on that kick now, and the Dragons, on a hot afternoon here at Mount Smart Stadium, will be forced to tackle early in the second half.
Looking onto the bench at the moment, coached by Daniel Lacey. As we see once again this bulldozing effort as well.
Good
What
meters
to like
up the
about
middle.
Arlette.
St George ruck. Rota working the ruck nicely.
This is Kathleen Morton Kidamete for the Warriors out of the Papakura Club. And for the Māori Ferns as well this year, did Kathleen.
Hands out. Go.
Been in the national squad regularly. The replacement, the Warriors now getting themselves set for a tilt at the line as Roto finds Poko. Now looking for Nichols back on the inside. Where's the bounce going? Nichols has it and almost catches the Dragons dozing. Good work in the end for the fullback.
Is there for all to see from Shante Poko. The kick over the top. Custodian and Nichols following.
Yeah, the combo those two have will be a tool to be reckoned with by the Dragons here this afternoon as we see another decisive defensive effort as well by Rota. One of the Warriors players down. Let's go down to you, please, Monty.
Yeah, just having a look now. Obviously, she's been great today. Angelina Leatawa, she'll be a huge loss if she can't continue. I know she will. She's very strong. So with this one too, Kizzy Apps, she's been brilliant. I think for the Dragons, they're going to make sure that they do what they did in the first half, get to the edges. And I know that they, at times, they want to play away from the edge, but I think you need to go to Kizzy Ups as much as possible. Tell you what, Shante Poko, what can't she do? You sure she's only been in the game a year, a matter of months, because she is a brilliant player.
Beth Walsh, too, reading that nicely as well. Plays for the West Tigers, the fullback for the Dragons, or has, as we see now. The Dragons getting themselves into more encouraging position. They're just outside the 20-metre line. Let's see what they can do with it as they work it to the right-hand side. Hands up. Takalele Katoa goes to ground right in front of the post, but only 12 metres out from the try line. Brittany Brealey has it, gets a couple of metres, puts it on for Fetterika. Tough on the team, but also on Fetterika, not knowing if she was in or out. And this is very dangerous for the Warriors. It's looking promising for St George. And what great defence from Jules Newman on Penatani. Just came in late and kept her at bay. Still, the Dragons with a chance. Pick up on the half volley. Cleverly as well there by Studden. She'll get it back to Wheeler. Wheeler gets it on the far side of the field for Surges, but that ball has gone forward. A promising opportunity for the Dragons. They just couldn't convert.
How did they not score here? Great work. Again, some scramble D coming to the fore. Look at this here. Just reach out and put it down, Penatane. There, can I get there? Yes, I can. No, I can't. Jules Newman holding her up. And then they had to really compress the defence on the left because there was a big shift here. And just the pressure. Look at the winger. She's 20 metres infield. And that contact forces the pass forward. Not the first time we've seen that today.
Oh, nice ball down as well for Tamurua. He takes it from the scrum base, heads off as well from Uraila, Radaniva Yavuni. The Fijian, two of the Fijian players. But Uraila ready to play nicely, just upset Surgis's intent. 32 metres out, the Warriors in possession now, up by 6. Here she comes again, Ale. Love the post-contact meters. Continues to impress with her 7th carry. To Poko, throws the dummy. Still thinking of offloading as well. Thoughtful player. Always looking for the next opportunity as Rota comes out of dummy half. Tyler Reid. Look at the carry from young Tyler. Last tackle, but Tyler Reid impresses.
Warriors, we're here. Go. No tackle.
Dragons on their own 20. Really feel, Lavina, that Kezi Apps, I know there's a lot of weight on her shoulders, but she's the class act here. She needs to be able to muster her troops as well, get more involvement as we see Davis to ground on the 40.
She can't do everything. That's the problem. They rely on her so heavily as an Australian player and New South Wales captain to do so much. And she likes to hang out on the fringes, but she also has to make sure that the forwards go forward. Time off here now as the player's gone down injured, but you can't rely solely on Kezi Apps, and I think that's where the Warriors have done well this afternoon. They've realised if they shut her down, they can shut down the Dragons. So the Warriors run earlier. What a great run here. I mean, she's been playing the game for 4 months. one of 2 players that have been playing the game of rugby league. She did have Georgia Howell on her left. Look up, look up. Not going to happen.
Good balance. Someone trying to catch a piggyback. Carries him some 15, 20 metres. Then Arakua had a really good run for the Dragons coaching staff of the Warriors.
It's great to see Justin involved as well, and of course Calvin Wright getting an opportunity with the Brisbane Broncos, and assisted by Parker and also Mannering. A lot of players really willing to lend their experience and trying to up the ante as far as the talent levels are concerned. We're thinking this is a head clash. Let's have a look here.
Oh,
Ushka.
So Reid on Tokotoro Arakua. Reid comes off second best. HIA.
Just singing the praises. She hasn't been on for very long at all, but the one run she did make was pretty exceptional. And that head clash is just a reminder of the dangers of contact sport.
Yeah, she's still very wobbly, and she comes off the field assisted by the orange and blue shirts. It's going to be a huge loss. Beautiful run through the middle. I was thinking this was all a little bit too easy.
Plenty of chat from the Dragons out wide here. They're setting up something out on the right-hand side. Warriors will have to be on their toes to make sure that they don't score any points.
Hold for the foot.
Exciting conclusion to the NRL season awaits us over the next 2 weeks. Big games next week, and of course, if the Warriors are able to get the W here after the 60 minutes of play, they've booked themselves a spot in the grand final, the big dance, as it is called down the left edge. Here she comes, Raquel Horn.
Good tackle.
Beautiful read as well.
Great read.
From Nichols, right on song. And the hands are stunned now. This is a charge down, picked up at the back too by Vic Walsh. It's 6 more for them as Penatani gets hold of the football, putting the fend on Penatani. Wisely to ground under the tackle of her opposite number, Newman. Dummy half work for the skipper. First receiver sends it out wide and lining up the run forward. This is Arakua. Brealey. Danger times for Tarika. She's been here before. She knows how to get over the line from close range. Can't do it this time around. Still, the danger is there. Davis, here's a hole and a chance. Towards the line go the Dragons. Couldn't quite see it, Lavina.
Looked like she got over the line. Did look like she got over the line, but couldn't get the ball down. Great scrambling defence from the Warriors. Had to do it, though. Beautiful step as well.
Angelina Leatoa take a bow. Amazing from the middle third. She gets across to the edge and stops this one. She was on fire. Jessica Surgis. Well done, Angelina. Shot.
What a
effort
hit.
on effort.
Leatoa. And Vitorica, what a clash it has been, but Angelina, what a star of the show she's been here this afternoon.
Just hold there, hold there. 24, you're all right?
Have a look at the numbers there in the frame. The Warriors' defence is all over them. This is Federica. Wow. Being sent backwards.
Not many can put Federica back like that. And Leatoa.
Just about buy a lottery ticket at the moment, the Warriors D. It is 3 or 4 times it looks like the Dragons have just about scored and have been able to scramble out of it. It's fantastic.
We worked heavily on their scrambling defence through Justin Morgan, their defensive coach. Really heavily. I spoke to Georgia Howell before the game, and she said that's one thing that they have focused on tremendously is not just making the tackle, but reading the defensive play and defending as a team. It's working for the Warriors this afternoon.
Timomo Ravisa knows what it's all about too, playing here in Holden Women's Premiership. NRLW, Warriors downtown it. Taking it at the back, one of the very best. with the Dragons today. As mentioned, Kaitaia born.
He's at 10. On, draw the
10 minutes gone second half, and I can't remember the Warriors being down this end of the football field in attack.
Christian again.
The Dragons with the runner plate.
Go to.
55% possession at the moment across the game for the Dragons.
Hear them again.
8 inside the halfway line, the Dragons really starting to pose a few questions to the Warriors D as it split open slightly and the skipper Apps waltzes through a hole. She's 22 metres out, right in front of the posts. Slow to her feet this time. Brealey has it. They'll go down the left edge. She's stunned. Little double pump, gets it wide and out to Penatani. She's wrapped up by opposites. It's been a wonderful battle between Newman and Penatani. The Dragons will be fancying their chances. They go to the air this time around. And it is pushed dead by the Warriors. So they'll go under the crossbar. Great recovery work by Radhani Yavuni.
It was a good contest too. The kick was spot on. Let's watch them go up. And here, AFL style, both hands up, tapped over the back. You're right, Dale. The battle out in the centres there, Jules Newman. She's a really aggressive defender, and she's needed here on Penatani today.
She was talked into playing by Georgia Hale, her buddy. He said, why don't you come to a trial and see how it goes? She goes, I don't think I've got it in me. I'm not sure if I'll be good enough. And next thing you know, she's selected for the Kiwi Ferns. So great potential from her.
And of course, the winger born in Suva plays for Richmond, but has also represented Fiji in Rugby League 9s and Rugby 7s as well. So a ton of class out wide here for the Warriors, but I tell you what, they're under the pump at the moment here from the Dragons, who are coming and calling. The Warriors need to be on guard here as Ashley Smalley puts a tackle, an important one as well, into her mix. Across it comes, needing an offload. Can't get it this time, Matt.
That should have gone out the back.
She's only 5 metres out. The Warriors really have to stay stoic on defence, and they're undone, and Shaylee Bent gets a decent ball, and the Dragons are in to score. And with it close range, a chance to square things up. Well, the Dragons have been hunting for that, and finally the Warriors D breaks, and the Dragons in to score.
It was bound to happen. It was bound to happen. DJ mentioned that maybe 5 or 6 sets of 6 the Warriors were on the back foot trying to defend, and they were looking fatigued and looking tired. At first, the Dragons came left and had no way through and thought, we'll go right. We'll see if we pass it out. Oh, no, we'll hold it, wait for the short ball. In we go for all the points.
Just 19 years of age. Shaylee Bent debuted last week in the women's NRL. In the left edge back row of Kizzy Apps. A nice little foil. And on the right, Shaylee Bent. Just too much possession.
Well, Visa needed to keep going. She was one out. 24 was coming on the inside, and we know how she's been great defensively. Leotoa was her man coming up. The short ball that got them through the end. It was on the right side, but shorter than out on the edge where Kizzy Apps and girls have been having much success. Got a game on their hands now. One playing to stay alive in the competition in St. George, and the Warriors still trying to make it to the grand final.
So Maddie Stullin, it's the chance to square things up here. A weight of possession in favour of the Dragons, but to their credit too, they just kept coming at the Warriors. Had the feeling that something was going to break, and it did. And that try scored by Shaylee Bent. Great to see Madison Wetherall's family and friends as well supporting her. Let's just follow this through. No problem, we're locked up here. 6-all from Mount Smart Stadium. I guess that must be George.
The Dragons certainly were rewarded for their efforts with this one. They've been on the attack for the last 5 or 6 minutes, and as soon as the try was scored, every single player ran in to celebrate with Bent, because she's the unassuming back row that doesn't receive the attention as her captain does, Apps, but certainly does all the hard work. So she was rewarded with the try. The Dragons all came in and said to each other, we've got to do it again. We certainly have a game in our hands for this round 2 NRLW clash.
Shaylee Bent got the second row work. Both she and Apps as well. Just getting back to Madison Wetherall. She's just 18. And simply qualified by just 3 days as we see a turnover here, and the Warriors have possession. You've got to be 18 to play in this Championship, and she qualified for just 3 days. Maddie Weatherall, but the Warriors are here now. They want to come back straight away. It's locked up at 6-all, 15 metres out from the try line. Down the left edge they come, the Warriors. Looking for a way through to Canyon Paul. Rota holds it, then delivers. Thought it might have been forward onto Nuo Sala. And she's right on the line, Annette. To her feet. Back it comes for Hale. There's an option down the left. They don't use it. Can the Warriors get the ball away? No, great defence. Up quickly, Penatani. Spot on the D. Down the right side. Nichols works it to Tamarua. And she comes back on the inside, but the Dragons are there. There's Poko. Says, let's have a go at this one. The chase is on. The take is good. The restart on the 20. Dragons live to fight another day. Quick tap and go. Look at that. 15 metres easy as Uppy Nichols makes the tackle.
Warriors have to work hard here on defence. Making too many yards too easy. Penatani started things with 2 tackles in a row to shut down what would have been a try-scoring opportunity. The kick wasn't perfect. It was good. It wasn't perfect. And now the Dragons on attack.
The Dragons have been very good over the last 5 or 7 minutes. The Warriors, bar that turnover off the kickoff, have been really under the pump as we see them coming at them again. Svetanika comes strong, and Uppy Nichols, superb defensive effort, cuts her down. The Dragons on fire at the moment. Here's Studden. Studden goes wide. Beautiful ball to Penatani. She straightens it. Penatani is over and rolls across to get it down. What a great finish from the Dragons centre.
Penatani deserved that. At the other end of the field, just a minute before, she slowed the play down by 2 tackles in a row. Always looking for an opportunity to run to the hole. Doesn't rush things. Before, a little critical for not letting the ball go, but this time she knew she had pace, she had space, and she could make it all the way over the dotted line. The Dragons very much in control of this game at the moment.
The kick in the in-goal area, no contest from the Warriors has come to hurt them. This is a magnificent tackle there from Uppy Nichols. Well, there's so much football, they shift it off to the left, and then watch Penatane. The hole just opens up, and away she goes. Been here twice before and couldn't get the football down. 3rd time lucky. The Warriors, they just couldn't get enough numbers in the tackle in that complete set of 6, and the play the balls were far too fast. And just offered the Dragons so much space.
Beautiful, beautiful shape and timing on that run. Everyone was an option, a real option. As Georgia Hale points to herself and realises she wants a little bit more. She's been very good out there today. Great captain and leader. Saw when there was an opportunity to come inside, she was actually telling to go down the right, using herself as a decoy. Tungai looking to put the points over, but they're being good, Chop.
Shakaya Tungai with the kick, a tough one too, 5 from touch. It's a reasonable piece of it, swinging it back, just outside the right pole.
Well, the Dragons now, they certainly will be feeling that this is well and truly within their reach. Just a little despondent at not being able to get across the line, but the try was a wonderful example of good teamwork and taking their opportunities when they surface. The try assist pass was spot on. And Chana Penatani, 23-year-old out of Canberra, has played 11 games for the Oz squad and ex-Oz Rugby Sevens as well, Tiana, but she's a class act. We're in for a rollicking good last piece of this match.
Stay on, Warriors!
Just over 12 to play here. Oh, the Dragons with 2 quick tries back-to-back. All within 5 minutes. That'll put a spring in their step. No doubt about that as Sergis plays the ball. Charging up Puckle, skipper.
Give space here.
Centre field 35. Full of running now, the Dragons. This is Apps wrestled to ground in the tackle of Newman. Warriors need some ball possession at the moment, 58% in favour of the visitors. This one at the back puts some pressure on Uppy Nichols as well. The chase from the Dragons players is good.
Well, this will help. You sense the momentum of the game is all with the Dragons at the moment. Sometimes a penalty can help your team gain back that momentum, but it's what you do with the football now. Sucking it in after heavy defence, pretty much back-to-back tries. They've now made 30 more tackles than the Dragons, the Warriors. So what sort of energy levels have they got?
They've got to find something here. There's 11 minutes of play left and they're under the pump and the shoulders are slumped and the Dragons have a spring in their step. If the Warriors want to make it into the grand final, they have to dig deep. They have to find something.
Another chance next week, but they'll be looking at today. It's actually Smalley takes it forward. Hats off to the defensive work on show here for the Dragons. And Brittany Brayley is the standout performer there in the defensive work. 35 tackles for the hooker, 28 for Wheeler, the back rower. And just coming up towards 30, the skipper for the Warriors, Georgia Hale. Roto as well with 27 to her name. And while we're at it, pay some tribute to Dubaya out wide. Atafai, he's already racked up 16 tackles out wide in the centres for the Warriors.
So the key in the attack here for the Warriors, when they've been through a little bit of a flat spell and been defending the whole time, is to transition into quick play the balls. So here the fight and the play the ball has to really be electric.
Ashley Smalley, a couple of injuries too have set them back somewhat. As Hale sends it on the inside again, the impressive run from Billie Jean Elliott.
But again, not quite quick enough in the play the ball. Oh!
And Rota knows she's made a bad mistake.
Yeah, that hurts. Crystal Rota. She's had a really, really good game. She started her career with the Kiwi Ferns way back in 2008. And here, maybe she just didn't quite pick up the football and have it with her before she took a step to the right.
Arms up. Shoulders on.
Second in the tackle count behind Georgia Hale. Hale's clocked up close to 30. Crystal, 27.
Well, it's a home team. The Warriors under pressure now. And a Dragons team whose confidence level is well and truly on the rise. Being the better squad in the second half, as the scoreline will be indicating. Sky Tungai wrapped up by Jules Newman, but impressed with Newman's work. 13 tackles now, making some good meterage through the middle as well. The Dragons onto the 30-metre line now, just to the left-hand side of the uprights. And it is Brealey. And good run again. Holly Wheeler, she's been good today too. Wheeler, 29 carries and 29 tackles and 7 carries. Right in front of the posts. Another one for the Dragons to go a long way towards securing victory here this afternoon as we see the ball come out for Cassie Apps. She keeps it alive, Apps, out the back and finds Vet Walsh onto the try scorer. Penatani who keeps it alive. Still going, out to Studden. Chip to the end goal, hitting the uprights, and the Dragons have capitalised. They've got there too. What play from the Dragons. Is that 3 in a row? We'll go upstairs to get clarity.
It was a great kick and it was an amazing chase, as it has to be if you're going to go into the try. At one stage I thought it was going for the post with a rebound, which it did. Seemed to regather. I'm not going to call that one. I'm not paid enough money to call that one, DJ.
It'd be brave to call it here. You're supposed to have regathered the football before it hits the ground, and simultaneous isn't.
And the Dragons ground the ball in the end goal. We have a decision.
Well, there you go.
There we go.
We are going to get a green light.
And hats off to Federica as well. This is the will I, won't I, should she, shouldn't she? And she made her way onto the field, but she's a class act. And she too replicates the tee.
Has a massive workload for a prop, doesn't she? She's taken the ball up on several occasions today, not afraid to make the odd tackle. And when it comes to a kick and chase, she's like, I'll run like a halfback to score that try.
Have a look at the offload here from Kezzy Apps. 2 Warriors defenders, a lovely little layback, and if you can take a key out of the second half, because it was all squared up at half-time in terms of stats, it's the offloads in the second half that's really hurt the Warriors. Offloads now 13-2. So it's the Dragons, and then the kick, well, fortune favours the brave. And Federica, I've got to put a hand out to Api Nichols, who has had a magnificent game today. here. She gets a mongrel of a bounce off the goalpost, but her one-on-one defence with line breaks, she's been superb.
Well, hats off to the Dragons. They've come out and they've been breathing fire, if I could use that somewhat naff term, and they've come in and really dished it up here. 2 minutes into the second half after a turnover. They're in through Bent. And then Penatali was exceptional 4 minutes later. And the whole momentum seemed to be with the St George Dragons. And now they look at an 18-6 scoreline. It's been a magnificent second half as we go sideline with you, Monty.
Oh, it has been. Momentum is definitely on their side. A crowd of just under 3,000. Pretty good turnout for a standalone game for the NRL Women's. Look at that, straight off the post. And often see the big woman like this coming through the middle. She's happy, she's elated, so are her teammates. Vitarika wasn't sure where she's going to make the field today. She put the jersey on and she's made her presence felt throughout the match. The ball in hand, defensively, hometown girl, she gets a try.
They were disappointed with the effort last week. The Dragons, the Warriors on the other hand, had to fight for their victory. And now the Dragons have shown some fight and some bite. And they're well and truly in the mix yet again. They're with the ball. Rota on defence.
Holly Wheeler, she's had a really good game here for the Dragons as well, the lock forward.
Yeah, I'm with you, Daryl. She's been exceptional as stud-in. So Penatali has been exceptional also. Out to Horn. Horn's got wheels. Speed to burn. She's pulled down by Hilda Mariu. A bit of gusto going in at the moment as well, and a penalty. I haven't seen all that many penalties today. That's just the 9th, I think. 5-3 in favour of St George, so the 8th penalty. As we see them working across, and Fetterika again. Well, she wants to get her hand on the ball any chance she can.
She's coming back for more.
Made to it. Wants action. Stud-in. Out to Horn. Horn shows it. Newman is there with good technique to shut Horn's run down. Brealey still alive. The Warriors sluggish in their response at the moment. They've got one eye on the scoreboard and the clock. Recognising 2 tries is a big ask. It can be done though, but they'll need to get their hands on the football very soon as Studden steps, then delivers. On to Keely Davis. Hanging in the standoff roll. Brealey. Studden again, nice work, and finally Jessica Surgis is there to put the icing on the cake for the Dragons. A remarkable second half effort by the Dragons. They've been absolutely outstanding, and despite the disappointments this time around, Jessica Surgis trumps up, and she's in to score on the far side of the field.
Well, after dropping the ball straight from the kickoff, they've basically gone back to back to back. Beautiful ball from Studden. And what about the whole run there from Surgis? Hit it at pace, right through the tackle. Beautiful work.
That's how you play a short side. Not many numbers there, but when you hit it at pace, beautiful line from Surgis. When you're throwing out wraps all day, give it this girl one too. She's been brilliant that first half. She had a lot of joy down that right edge, unable to let that final pass stick to score some tries. Brilliant player. This team, in fact, have been good across the park. They've really taken off in the second half. It's not just the Keziab show. She's run some good foils, some good work in behind her. Lovely to watch, St George.
They'll be full of confidence now, fancying their chances of pushing their way into the big dance too.
What about the workload, Dale, of Federica? She has had 17 hit-ups here. Brayley's made 30-plus tackles, so has Apps. Both back rowers have made 25 tackles as the kick at goal just slices away to the right-hand side of the field. And Holly Wheeler, the lock forward, has contributed nicely too to the workload across the board there today. But they've got a workaholic pack, haven't they?
You mentioned Federica. Imagine if she didn't play today. Her contribution has been absolutely huge for this side. Wonderful player.
So 20-6, what a second half performance it has been as we look on with a couple of disappointed faces in the Warriors coaching box at the moment. in control at half-time, but the second half has belonged to St. George, with tries to Bent, Penatani, Fitarika and Sturgis. The latter, of course, a 22-year-old out of the Coogee Randwick Wombats, will be celebrating somewhat as one of their own. Proved so effective here in this history-making match.
It's a great mascot for the club, isn't it? The Wombat.
A remarkable animal. Well, hats off to St. George. Gee, they've been good in the second half, Daryl.
Well, we've heard about the star-studded team that the St. George Illawarra Dragons have. First half, the Warriors kept them quiet. In the second half, they've just exploded at all the possession.
Across the entire game, 60% of the possession for the visitors. 70-30 possession stat for the Dragons in the second 30. There's a knock down.
It's a rare mistake. But again, the mistake was done at speed. Sturgis was on the fly coming back on an unders line. So they do things very, very quickly. You make mistakes when you're having a red-hot crack. Your coach doesn't really mind.
Again, Lacey will be well pleased with the effort here in the second half.
Shoulders on.
As mentioned when you were interviewing Brealey there, making your way off after that first half, still to control the football better, and they certainly have done that.
They've certainly done that. And on the other side of the fence too, the Warriors probably need to play a little bit more expansive. Only the one line break today. St. George Illawarra Dragons have 6 line breaks.
Well, it's been an entertaining game of rugby league, and if this is what we can expect from the women's game in years to come, Daryl Halligan, there's plenty to like about it. 5 tries scored here. The last 4 all to the Dragons. I've been hugely impressed by Angelina Leatawa. I thought she was exceptional through that first half, but her efforts will be in vain.
I've been impressed with Nuasala for the Warriors. She's had a good game.
Hale up to Puko. I know she's very talented, Puko, as we see Horn coming through to cover up.
Been contained in the second half quite well. Ante Puko. Oh, a show and a goal.
Here is
and
a
some
run.
Speed.
Got some speed, all right. But it's sent her off to Western Spring Speedway. Here's the fullback. She's been exceptional as well. And it is try number 5 in the second half for Vet Welsh. And the Dragons, quite rightly, are celebrating big time.
Well, she was heading for Kaitaia. Pateli Vete Walsh. We knew she could get a bit of speed. Scored the first try last week as well. Found a little bit of space. And away she went. Some tiring defence for the Warriors in the last minute. Let's have a look. A show, the go, and away she went.
Oh, was the show and plenty of go from Vete Welsh. Beautiful, obviously with bodies in motion, showing to one of our outside players. This team, you mentioned early on, there was a few people coming out from the Broncos. There were big talk and raps on what they could produce. Unable to do that in the first round. Second round, we've seen the best of St. George.
And it's been excellent football from this Dragons lineup today. The kick is just putting another salt into the wound of the Warriors at the moment. We'll go back and look at this tape and say, what happened in that second 30? I'll tell you what happened. The Dragons were full of self-belief, and they came out with a hiss and a roar, scored after 2, backed it up 5 minutes later, and then the tries came thick and fast. Congratulations to them. They celebrate victory here in the Holden Women's Premiership here at Mount Smart Stadium. For the very first time, a standalone Women's Rugby League fixture has resulted in a big win for the Dragons. They knock over the home team, the Warriors, 26-6. Some fantastic performances here this afternoon. I hope you've enjoyed it. Our friends across the Tasman, and certainly those who are Dragon supporters, well, your team lived to fight another day. It's a compressed format and championship, but we've been treated to some great athleticism, some wonderful defensive work, and some running rugby league, which really is a superb advertisement for our women's game. Congratulations to the Dragons. Too good as the teams come together in that spirit of sportsmanship. The Warriors, I tell you, will be very disappointed with their effort 26-6 is a big loss for them to concede. And they know what they have to do if they're going to go on with it next week and force their way into the final.